I'd like to call upon Jenny's subconscious, please.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, thank you so much. Are you able to do a body scan and tell me how her body is doing?
Yes, we're scanning now. She just needs to relax a little more, so we will help her with that.
Okay, thank you. Are you able to continually scan her body and help balance and heal the body if there is any balancing and healing that needs to take place today?
Yes, we would definitely help her with that. She has been having a bit of trouble with her eyes. Her eyes have been quite sore, but we have told her the energies coming in at the moment are quite strong, and it is affecting her eyes, making them a bit dry. So we will help her with that problem.
Subconscious, can you help me understand why is it affecting her eyes to have the high energy coming through?
The high energies have just unsettled her balance in that area slightly, it seems, and the eye lubrication has been affected. So we will work on that during this session and try and get that lubrication working again. It is just a natural lubrication that your eyes have. It is making her eyes dry and making the inside of her eyelids irritated. So we will help her with that during this session as well.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. In terms of the energy on the planet, how are things going at this moment?
Yes, very well. Very well, actually. The energies that have been coming in, especially on the weekend, have been quite strong, and many people have been feeling them. Jenny has felt them. It unsettled her a bit even last week she was a bit unsettled with the stronger energies coming in. She was a little bit up and down. She wasn't too emotional, just a little bit, feeling a little bit different on some days, a little bit slowed down. She felt a little bit slowed down. It just sometimes takes a little while to adjust when those energies are hitting your body, because it's like a push and pull, because you have the energies coming in from the earth and around you, and then you still have some negativity pulling at you the other way. So that is how she felt, like she was being pushed and pushed and pulled in different directions, but she has adjusted to that now. She just had to let it flow, just relax into it all. We don't want anyone to fight the way they feel. Just try and go with the flow of it, because eventually it will balance out in your body. It can cause you to bring up some emotions, some loose ends that are sitting in your body. But we just want you to release them. Just go with them and do not worry about them, for all is well. There are times when the energy will be stronger, and it may affect you in certain ways. It affects people differently, but many can feel a bit unsettled. But it's okay. We just want you to know that all is okay. All is okay. All is well.
Thank you so much, subconscious. So would you like us to understand for Jenny that moving forward, there could be some more of these, the same energy that she needs to be able to transmute?
Yes, that is correct. It will be like that for many of you.
What is the best way to be able to process that when these are felt?
The more balanced your body is, the easier these energies will flow into you. So we would really like you to keep doing your inner work and cleaning out the garbage within yourselves, so to speak, those emotions that no longer serve you. The more we clean out, the more easily it will be to go with the flow of the energies. But also, if you're tired, if you're quite tired and you're not sleeping properly, these energies can also upset your balance. But please remember, do not fight them. We want these energies to flow into your bodies. We want them to bring the light into your body, to help you expand. And the more you accept these energies, the more the unwanted emotions will be pushed up and out of you. This does not mean they will happen automatically. It is just a helping hand. So when you notice something is bothering you, just take 5 minutes to sit with it, work with it, think about it, feel it. Why are you feeling this way? And release it. Send it away. The more you release what no longer serves you, the more aspects of your higher self will merge in with you. You have many other aspects of your higher self. And in 3D, they're not all with you all of the time. They're not integrated properly. So if you clear yourself as much as you can, your other aspects of your higher self will start coming in. They sort of integrate into you. See yourself as a small person sitting in a room. You see yourself as being alone by yourself. But for a huge distance around you, filling that room, is your higher self. And as you release what no longer serves you, more aspects of your higher self can come and merge with that higher self. And you can bring more source light into your body and expand yourself so you connect with the universe and you can connect with other collectives. Remember too, when you are in a room full of people, all your higher selves in that room are overlaying one another. Jenny's laughing because they're showing her your higher selves all having a chat and their own separate little meeting. So this is how you are ascending. You are ascending by bringing in all the other high aspects of your high self. And as you do, and as you release, more of those are coming in and bringing in source light. Oh, it's quite wonderful, actually. So, that's why it's so important to do your inner work. So you can become whole again, sort of, in a way. Your higher self doesn't completely merge into your body, but it is sort of partially in your body and out of your body, if that makes any sense. So that is how we would like you to see it. To know that the more you release, the more you become whole, the more you will expand and bring in the light and be able to connect with the rest of the universe and the collectives.
Thank you so much. We can definitely respect the significance and importance of doing inner work. Subconscious, it seems like when people know about the new earth, they sort of give up focusing on their inner work or being of service. I don't know what else I can say or do to be able to help those people step up or realize that they still need to be working rather than not working.
We want you to know, Joanne, that this is not your responsibility. It is their responsibility. They have to take responsibility for themselves. And if they do not want to do that, then they will not be able to expand. And they will not be able to ascend the way they would like to ascend. We cannot take the new earth for granted. You must work to get there. You came to this planet Earth because you wanted this challenge. You have to learn to fight your way out of the matrix. You came here to play this game, my friends. You wanted it. You signed up for it. If you want to ascend, you have to learn to play the game. You have to beat the matrix. The matrix is spiraling you down all the time. The only way in this game to release yourself is to take a serious look at yourself. Are you doing what you came here to do? Are you loving yourself? Do you accept yourself? Do you believe in yourself? You must love yourself. You must love others, regardless of their beliefs. It doesn't matter what others believe in. It might be the totally opposite of what you believe. But you need to be of service and supporting these people. They are all part of the game. They are all here. They are all important. All of them. No matter what they believe, no matter what they look like, it makes no difference. Ultimately, we are all one in unity and love. That is where you have come from, but you don't remember. So now you are in this matrix of fear, manipulation, and control. You have to learn to fight your way out of it. And yes, I know it's very challenging for some of you. You are finding it extremely hard. This is the hardest challenge of any planet in this universe. It is the hardest. Can you do it? Can you fight your way out of that matrix? Can you win this game? We're counting on you, because if you do, you are not only helping yourself, but you are helping us as well. We do love you, but we are watching many of you struggle. We are watching many of you feeling entitled, and you are not. That is all part of the matrix. That is all part of the rubbish, the programming that you have been pulled down with. Are you releasing yourself? Are you? We want you to work harder. Don't you want to win? Don't you want to graduate from Earth? We're watching you, and we know the ones who are not doing their work. We are disappointed. We are disappointed in many of you. Many of you are still caught up in the blaming, the judgment, all the horrible emotions that you no longer need. They are all part of the matrix around you. You can stay in that matrix, or you can release yourself into the light. And once you start releasing yourself and the light comes in, wow, you can see the beauty. You can feel the release. You can feel the happiness and joy that comes into your body, which is what we want for you all. You have to learn to balance the light and the dark together in your vessel. That is all part of the game. The darkness will always be there, but releasing the crap within yourself, so to speak, sorry for the word, will help you bring in more light, and your body will become balanced in unity. That is how Jenny is seeing what we are showing her. You must have a balance of both. But here on Earth, we're so embedded in the dark side. It is so engulfing us. It is all around us. So once we learn to release, expand, bring in the light, bring in the source love, you can balance your body. It balances out like a scale, like equilibrium. It's harmonized, and you feel at peace. You feel just at one with everything.
thank you, subconscious. So can you just confirm that being here now on this planet, our aim is to be high vibrational and to be able to be of service?
Yes, we must increase our vibrations, but we do that as we dig our way out of the matrix and release our emotions. Our vibrations increase. We can then Jenny's trying to find a word. We can then bring in the frequency of the universe. We can then be more balanced. And when we are balanced and we are high vibrational and we have released what no longer serves us and we love ourselves, we can then be of service to others, because we have told you many times before, there will be people around you who are going to need support in the near future. And if you are not balanced and you do not love yourself, you are unable to help others. Your high vibration will also help others, whether you just walk past them, touch them, talk to them, smile at them, gesture to them. They will feel that vibration. It helps to ignite them. So the higher your vibration is, the more help you are to humanity. We want you all to take a good look at yourselves. We want you to get a piece of paper and we want you to write down the things you are still holding on to. This is your homework. We want you to stop blaming others and look at yourselves. For what you judge others for is what you're judging yourself for. Remember, you only judge yourselves. And when you leave Earth and you go back to Source, the only judge is yourself. No one else is ever judging you. You are your best judge. You have to look at yourself. You have to see where you have gone wrong. You have to see what you are still holding on to. Write down what you are still holding on to when we want you to be honest with yourselves. Stop looking outside yourself for answers. Look inside yourself. That's where your answers are. You have the power. You've always had the power, but you just cannot see it Look within yourself, judge yourself, and be honest. For many of you are still holding on to so much unnecessary crap that you do not need. So, for homework, we want you to sit with yourself and seriously judge yourself. What are you not seeing? What are you not seeing within yourself? What are you not doing that you should be doing? Are you moving forward? Are you moving forward? Or are you remaining stagnant? Please, we ask this. Write down anything and just be honest. Please be honest. Write every single little thing down you can think of. Do I love myself? Am I doing my inner work? What do I need to release? We could just go on and on and on about this, but really you know what you have to do. You're not looking within yourselves. You're still looking outside of yourselves for answers.
Thank you, subconscious, for some very great wisdom. And may we all hope that everyone can be honest with themselves. They can see it's very important to be able to do that. So thank you so much. Subconscious, in terms of Jenny's experiences, she had on the 10th of February 2005 a blackout experience where she lost time and memory. She was in the shower. She remembered coming to and questioning, why am I here and what for? What can you tell us about this, please?
Yes, that was 2015. She had come for her final check with a specialist at the hospital for her heart. It had been 8 months since her very first procedure, and she had had many others. And this was her final check. She went into the shower and then she awoke and could not remember where she was, what she was doing there. She had lost time. So we will try and show her what had happened. So we are giving her an image of herself. There is just suspended time. Everything has stopped. There is a energy light form hovering above her. And there is an energy light form within her which has partly moved from her body but still remains in her body. The other energy is connecting with her energy. They are interconnected and they are both coming into her body now. She has another soul within her, but she has not left. She has not finished her contract and she wants to remain to complete her contract. The other energy has come in and has wanted to experience the not necessarily the ascension. She is not seeing that they want to experience the ascension. It is another soul from her star family. It is, it's a male soul who wants to experience the female body. He wants to experience the female body. It's making Jenny feel a bit uncomfortable, but he has we have stopped time. We have suppressed her consciousness. So this could happen. She did not need to be fully asleep for this to happen. It's like she's trying to think of a word. We're showing her just that another soul can inhabit your body when you are still there. And he wanted to experience her body waking up and not knowing where he was, so he could then orientate himself into the auric field and co-inhabit with her. We are saying that members of your star or soul families are able to do this if they wish, and you allow them to. She has allowed him. to co-inhabit with her for a period of time.
So in 2015, was that when he entered?
Yes, it was that period in the shower is when he entered her body.
And he's still remaining there now?
No, he's not here. He has gone. He only stayed for, Jenny is saying, like a year. In fact, she did feel at times like she had a male presence within her, but never thought very much of it. She is just finding it quite strange that a male soul could inhabit her body with her. But they have had other lives together, so really, although she feels uncomfortable, it is somebody that she does really know in other lives. So it is, she is feeling a bit more comfortable about that. There are many things that happen here that you do not realize. And sometimes it is better off not knowing, but she is very open to any new information. So she allowed this knowledge to come in.
Fantastic. Can you tell her and give her the sense of when he left so she will know roughly how that occurred?
She is not saying. She's not saying. Oh, he left. He left when she was sleeping.
Oh, lovely.
He left when she was sleeping, yes. Just when she was sleeping, he left.
In terms of what he wanted to experience, was it successful, and can we learn a little bit more about that?
Yes. First of all, he wanted to experience being in a female body, which might seem odd to many, but you have all experienced this yourselves. It is quite normal. He also wanted to experience her recovery from her open heart surgery. The reason for this was that she had many complications, or she had one major complication after that heart surgery, which was in her contract. The beta blockers and heart medications she had been on had damaged her nervous system, and she developed neuropathy in her legs, which is a nervous condition. And we will explain very basically what happens with this. The nerves are damaged, and it affected her from her knees down on both legs, but especially on her left leg, because that is the side the heart is on, and that is where the surgery, or it's more over to where the surgery was on the left side of her body. So she was in great pain. Her feet were numb. She would trip over. She could not have anything touching her legs. She could not wear shoes because it was too painful. It affected her quality of life dramatically. She could no longer do the things that she liked to do. He wanted to experience her journey with this because he wanted to experience feeling that condition, and then learning how to empower himself to overcome it. Jenny empowered herself through her heart surgery, and then had to deal with another health condition that completely could have disempowered her. If she had been completely disempowered, she would not have been here to experience the Ascension and this time on Earth. She knew this, so he wanted to learn from her how she overcame this condition. She still has some slight damage, but through her mind and her strength, she has been able to renew and heal most of that nerve damage that was done to her by the medications. He has now left, of course, but that was what he wanted to learn. So she has now continued on. She has now continued on to complete her contract.
Thank you, subconscious. As you are aware, she is going to a specialist on the 12th of October to view the battery change of her pacemaker. What can you tell us about this, please?
Yes. She has been wondering about this appointment with all that is going on at the moment. She is slightly worried about the timing of that battery replacement. We are hoping that this will not have to be done, and that the ascension will happen before the battery needs changing. But as you know, things can change. So if she does need to go and have that battery change, we will protect her. She will be protected because she is important. We need her. And if she does go into the city, to the hospital, we will be there with her. She will be shining her light to all in that hospital. We are unable to tell her exactly which way this is going to work out. But either way, we will be there with her. She will be fine.
Thank you so much, subconscious. I know she really respects you and trusts that you are keeping her safe and protected, and she will be relieved to hear and reminded of this information. She will respect it. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Another question she had, subconscious, was about when she fell in the bathroom. Her husband thought she had died. She was laying there on her back with her eyes open. What can you tell us about this event? What can we learn?
She is saying that she left her body temporarily. She left her body and she came to get advice. She came to get advice on what she needed to do next. She was unsure of where to go from here because she was not getting the treatment she needed. for her thyroid. She was banging her head against a brick wall, so to speak, unable to get any answers. She was a bit, maybe we could say, fed up with the medical system, fed up with the way she was treated or not treated by these so-called doctors. She felt like she was at the end of her tether. But she had just made a big move in her life from the city to the country. And there had been many other upheavals in her family before she came to the country. She had been supporting everyone as much as she could, supporting her brother who was homeless, supporting her son, both of her sons actually. One who was going through a very difficult time. She had a lot on her plate, and so when she did move and she started having health issues, she wasn't able to get help, the proper help she needed. And she felt frustrated and fed up. But she's strong. So she had that accident. We wanted her to come up and get some advice with all of us and have a little bit of healing at the same time. And then she agreed to go back down and continue. For there is one thing she really does not give up. And this was just one of those little moments where she felt like throwing the towel in, but she didn't. So that is why she had that accident. We wanted her to just sort of come home again and just have some healing with us, just to help her and encourage her. And then she could continue with her contract.
Thank you so much. It does make sense. So thank you. Subconscious, when we were talking earlier, she was mentioning how she gets this sense. She's had it around 4 times, but she's always tried to dismiss it. But when she was talking to me, she felt this heaviness in the pit of her stomach, where she thinks she recalls having another lifetime where she was brewing herbs and she lived in a shack with her husband and 2 children. And she felt like she was being held back by 2 men as she watched her family be hung. And then she sensed that she was then having to experience a stone prison. What would you like us to understand about this experience, please?
Yes, that was a past life that Jenny is ready to explore. She lived in that life in a simple shack. She grew herbs and she made teas. She made poultices from the herbs to help heal. She made tinctures from the herbs to help people. She helped many people around her. These are all herbs that have been used for centuries and centuries, which the dark forces have tried to take away, as they have been programming in and putting to practice their own cures for things. She was called a witch. They accused her of being a witch, and people were shocked, for they loved her treatments. They relied on her treatments, and eventually her whole family was taken away. She can just see her husband and her children, a boy and a girl, very young. She is watching them. Two men are holding her down. Her children and husband have nooses around their neck. And they hung them in front of her. She dropped to the ground and asked to go with them. She ran up and she put the noose around her neck, said, "Take me with them." But they laughed at her. They laughed at her and dragged her by one arm, and they threw her in this dirty, horrible prison. They dragged her down the steps, and everybody was chanting, "Witch, witch, They left her there with the rats and the dirt and the dripping water. And they starved her. Eventually, she just went into a trance. And it's like she just left her body. She just wanted to leave. She felt like her heart had been ripped from her. She could hear her children calling to her, and she could do nothing. She needs to release this and get it out of her body. She needs to let it go. For she freed herself. She freed herself and she went back to source for healing. She has repeated this lesson before losing her family. But she wanted to feel what it was like to be accused of something you haven't done and to be so humiliated by everybody around you when all you were trying to do was to help humanity, which is all she has ever wanted to do. It was a really hard lesson for her, and she still hears the voices of her children calling out to her, and she felt what it was like to be totally helpless and not be able to help your own flesh and blood. It is a massive lesson for her to overcome, and it is a huge challenge. And she can now see the huge lessons she had to learn from that life.
Thank you, subconscious. In terms of the children in that lifetime, does she know them in this lifetime?
Yes, she does. They are part of her soul family. They are the children. of her best friend's son. She has a very strong connection with those children and has always wondered why they come to her and ask her things. And when they come to visit her town, they get so excited to see her. This is why.
Thank you so much for that clarification. How many lifetimes has Jenny had on Earth, please, subconscious?
On Earth, we are seeing 7.
Thank you. And we were curious about the lessons and the experiences that she had when she was in Lemuria. What can you tell us, please?
Yes. Lemuria, when Jenny was there, was a magical place. She can see herself as a little girl. She's very young at this stage. She has long, pretty hair. She is not wearing anything. The children are running around free. Sometimes she wore a very basic little drapey thing on her body, but not always. The children would go out into the sunshine. She liked to feel the sun on her body. She liked to swim in the crystal clear water. The dolphins would come up to her and she would talk to them and play with them. The sand was so white, everything was so clean and clear. She could feel the energy and healing of the sun. She could feel the energy and vibrations from the water, from the sand. She could talk to the trees. There was communication between everything. Everything was just communicating together and balancing. Balancing. Everything was balanced and in harmony so that we all, what's the word, Jenny's we all vibrated in frequency together. It was just so peaceful. It was like a fairyland. She can see and even connect with the rocks and everything feels soft. It is not hard and rigid. Everything feels soft. It's almost like she can just put her hand through the rock because of the vibration. The vibrations are balanced, and it's just everything is energy and vibrations. So nothing feels hard and firm. She sees her hand moving through the rock and connecting in with its messages. There is communication coming through from the universe into everything. It is so different from what we experience here. It is beautiful. The colours are so vivid and bright. The trees are singing in the breeze. There's a hum in the air, a hum because everything is happy. Everything is so connected and in unity with everything else. She feels so happy inside, so there are no thoughts of anything negative. It's just happiness, happiness and joy, and you just feel elated, so just so connected to everything around you. It's an amazing experience.
Thank you so much, subconscious. In terms of what Jenny did for the majority of her time with her family, what can you tell us so we can understand her role and experience there?
She was a very free child. She was taught from her father the wisdom of the universe, and she loved it. He was such a man with such a beautiful heart, with such an open mind. He was a, a guide for people, a teacher. He taught me and many of the other children and people about the universe, how the universe worked, how we were all connected. We would sit around him as children in groups and just to be mesmerized by his words. It was just brought joy and peace into your soul. The children were contented and balanced and happy and laughing and just carefree. Her mother was a priestess, she's saying. Her mother, she sees her mother with long, medium brown hair. She is wearing a robe over her shoulders, and she is wearing a basic dress with a sash on her body like her father does. She is holding a rod of some description. Her mother draws in the powers, the vibrations and the frequency from the universe. She knows how to use those energies. She uses her hands and she is drawing the energy in to her soul through her hands. And she is using a sound vibration. She makes sounds from her mouth that seem to resonate with the energy, and it calls it in, and she uses it to help with keeping everything in balance. She uses crystals and she programs the energy into the crystals. They are white, transparent like crystals. Jenny plays with these crystals a lot, and they seem to emanate a resonance of some sort, and she places them on her body as her mother does to her, to help balance or keep her chakras balanced and the energy flow in her body even. Her mother is very efficient at doing this. She has learnt this from previous lives. Her mother has mastered it, but she does not use it for bad intent. It's only ever for good intent and to help others. Her parents are her parents are helpers of humanity. We often had people into our home, as we called it, although it seems to be made of rock of some description. We seem to have people in our home a lot, and my mother would cook over the fire for others. My parents helped other people. They brought anybody into their home. They were very hospitable people, very kind and generous. And they taught me as a child to be kind and generous to others and to share what I had with others always. We didn't have much, but whatever we had was offered to other people to share. So it was more of it seems to be a clan type setting where everybody just helps one another. There is lots of laughter, and there is like we are all sitting around, and the women are sending out these, well, sort of like a chanting type thing, sort of chanting, but also sending out sounds with the just sounds coming from their mouths. As a child, we just got used to this. It was like calling in the energy, becoming one with the energy, becoming one with the universe, bringing it into your body, bringing everything into your body, and just being in harmony with it all. My mother did not often speak as much as my father. Well, my father was teaching, but my mother was more using sound therapy to communicate. She seemed to be able to communicate with everything around her using these vibrational sounds. And that is what she taught me to do as well, although I was only young and I thought it was a bit funny, but it was still fun.
Sounds wonderful. And so then what happens next that they experience?
It seems like that harmony essence of the atmosphere, it just seems to get thicker, and people started thinking in different ways. They started veering from the original teachings. She's just seeing people changing the way they think, changing the way they do things. It happened slowly, but even as a child, she could notice it, for she noticed that the trees in particular were not as happy as they used to be. She was worried about them. Sometimes they looked really sad. There was just something in the atmosphere that wasn't right. And as time went by, more of the darkness came in, and everything started to look dirty and dull. It wasn't as pretty. And her parents were talking about the bad influence that was coming into the earth. The balance was not the same. My mother was working hard to try and balance the energies, but the darkness was so strong. There were eruptions starting, volcanic eruptions. They were only mild, but it was like things were just starting to complain around us. Something's not right, something's not right. Our balance is gone. Oh, it's just not the same. It started getting worse, and my parents and many others started making plans, it seems, to protect themselves. My mother was programming the special secrets or the lessons, the universal lesson. She was programming them into the crystals to keep them safe, for they were all being overrun. The crystals were placed on the bottom of the sea, and some were buried. She programmed many crystals, and still she continued to try and balance the energies, but she could no more. She can see the like cave-like tunnels that they started to build. They were able to use their will and their powers to dig the tunnels. They could will themselves to lift heavy things. They were able to dig and dig and dig. My mother used her powers. My father was very good at using his will to project his will to make things do what he wanted, not in a bad way, in a good way. And the people got together and decided to protect themselves and protect their families. And so they dug these tunnels, caverns, caves, and they could make a seal. They could make a seal on that tunnel that would fit and seal perfectly just by using their mind and their will to do it. They built or made these tunnels in a certain area. Jenny's just seeing like it's like an energy point, an energy vortex, an energy, something my mother knew instinctively was there. And she knew that they could stay safe in that particular area. They kept telling Jenny that there would be floods coming, that the earth had become dirty and unbalanced and unharmonized, and it had to be cleaned. Excuse me. They also said that there would be more volcanic eruptions, that the ocean would rise and it would wash the land clean of the dirtiness. I thought it was all just silly stuff. And by this stage, I was older. And unfortunately, I was enticed into the darkness. And I thought what they were doing was silly, and I didn't want to go with them.
In what way was she enticed into the darkness? What happened there?
She was enticed by another being. He told her about all the special things that were coming. He told her how all of the things her parents taught and did were just nonsense. She cannot understand how she got so enticed by this person. But she did. He was charming, he was funny, and he was interesting. She had led a very happy life, but a very isolated life, really. An isolated life from the rest of the world. In her little community, as she didn't realize how good she had it. And so once she broke away from that, and was manipulated and brainwashed, she decided that what her parents were saying was not true, that it all seemed like nonsense. So she wouldn't go with them into the safe place, as they called it. She wouldn't go into the safe place. She thought she was going to be okay. But she was very wrong. Very wrong.
Okay, subconscious. Then what happened next? How was she very wrong?
She could see what was happening, and instinctively she knew once it started happening that she was wrong. The volcanoes had started to erupt. Her parents and many others had gone into hiding, taken supplies with them. There was a lot of unbalance in the atmosphere. Everything just seemed, everything was just dark. It was really still for a while. everything went still. Nothing was moving. No leaves on the trees. Nothing. It was really weird. And you could hear the eruptions in the background, the rumblings. This went on for many days, and she felt the heaviness and the darkness creeping into her. It was too late to go with her parents, for the tunnel was sealed. She wanted to bang on that door, and she wanted to bang on it and get in there. But she knew she couldn't, because once it was sealed, they could not open it. There was no way she was going to get in there. So she just had to wait. There were others who'd also been misled. We just had to wait. Everything was so sad. And then, what seemed like weeks, there was a huge, huge volcanic eruption. And she can just see the sea rising up. It's rising up so large. It's like a huge wall, and it has so much power behind it. So much power. And it just washes over everything. And Jenny is dragged under it. Oh, she's dragged down. And she drowns, but at the same time, she realizes she's free. She can see her body floating in the water. She is free. And the dolphins are with her. And she can breathe. And she can see everything so clearly now. Oh, she can see everything just doing a rerun. She's being sucked into the portal beneath the sea. And it's like it's the strangest feeling. And at the same time, she's seeing her whole life just go past her. She is seeing her mistakes. She is seeing where she went wrong. And she knows, she just knows that Yes, she is the one judging herself. She is seeing the mistakes she has made in her life and what she needs to learn from those. And then she is just guided by her spirit guides. And she is back with Source. And she feels safe and she feels protected. And she just feels relieved. She feels the love all around her, encompassing her. No one is judging her for her mistakes. No one is pointing a finger at her. She is just being loved and cared for and healed.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much. In terms of her parents, what happened to them after the flood?
Her parents, she's being shown the blue beings that she sees, the blue beings from the inner earth. They have created their own community. And for some reason, she is seeing these blue beings. Jenny sees them as solid, but that is how she sees them. Yeah, they are really light beings. There is some connection between those blue beings and her parents. She's seeing that these beings protected those who went in to the tunnels. They seem to be protecting them somehow. She is trying to see more. And she cannot see anything else. She is not getting she can't work out if they were if the blue beings were, they seem to be ancient blue beings. Ancient blue beings. Oh, it seems like my parents have integrated in with a community that was already there. That is just what she is seeing. and they have all become one community together and have evolved together. It seems that these beings taught my mother how to program the crystals. They taught my mother to program the crystals to keep the beauty of Lemuria into the crystals. And as the vibration of the planet increases and more light comes in, that programming will be released from the crystals and sent out into the consciousnesses of the universe. That is why it was kept safe.
Thank you, subconscious. Are those blue beings still within the inner earth?
Yes, they are still there.
I see. And do they have a message for us?
They want you to know that they have been here. Since the start of the universe, they were one of the first. She's just saying the word races, but I don't know if that's correct. One of the first races on the universe. They have evolved from the solid blue beings. They are tall and slim, with very long, slim limbs. They have beautiful eyes, dark eyes, and they are so kind. They are so loving. They have no darkness within them at all. And they have evolved into light beings. And they have remained in the inner earth. And they are protected. Somehow Jenny's saying that they're protected. Protected from the darkness. I don't know why that is. The crystals. The crystals are electromagnetic. The crystals have created an vibrational barrier around that community, if you want to call it that. The crystals bring in the light and the energy, and they create an electromagnetic current that forms a barrier around their world. They have been protected and have thrived in the inner earth. And it seems they have kept the darkness out.
Thank you. Can you give me a sense or an understanding of how they arrived here?
All she is saying is that it was an accident. They were not meant to be here. They were not meant to be here. They were not meant to come here. But she's being shown an accident of some sort. Maybe a spaceship crash, Jenny is saying.
Okay, thank you. Do they dwell long on the surface or not?
No, it seems when they first arrived, the surface of the earth was not suitable for them. So they had to go further in to the core of the earth to survive. That is all she can say.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And in terms of Lemuria, after Jenny left her body in that lifetime, what happened there? Was there some survivors on the surface?
There were some survivors. They had to go and make a life elsewhere, for there was nothing left of Lemuria. So they had to find new land to inhabit and start over again. Jenny is being showed part of that as being Atlantis. But by that stage, the darkness had come with those surviving people. And so a lot of the natural beauty and lessons and wisdom from Lemuria was lost. And as the people reproduced, once again, the darkness set in. And became overwhelming once again.
Okay, thank you so much. And so, subconscious, in terms of the flood in Lemuria, what happened? What was that? What caused that?
The volcano, the pressure, there was energies, huge energies coming in. There was pressure as the volcano erupted. It released more pressure points around the land, and they were just being all forced out, all forced out. And all of that caused the sea to rise and created massive ripples through that land. And the water built up and built up and built up until the pressure behind it was just massive. It was nature at its finest. And the push behind that wave was just immense. It was like it rose and it screamed out in pain, and it just exploded over that land to wash away all that muck that had accumulated. It destroyed such a beautiful, beautiful place. That Jenny can see. It's so sad. So sad.
Thank you. Do you get a sense of if there were any leaders or any rulers at this time that were overseeing Lemuria?
They weren't like, though originally Lemuria did not have leaders, for everybody was the same, and everybody had a different role. But once the darkness came in, people started believing and thinking that they were leaders. It started out very small, and they really only had small roles, and some of them just went unnoticed. But as the years went by, more and more of these people started coming to the surface, and started to try and change things. They weren't as powerful as some of the ones we have today on Earth, but they still managed to manipulate and control some people, but not all wanted to believe in what these people were saying, but they still managed to overbalance that harmony in Lemuria. And once that harmony is unbalanced and more people stop seeing who they really are and cannot see the truth within themselves, more and more people started following these leaders and believing in what they were saying.
Do you get a sense of what they were saying to manipulate people?
They were telling people that what they believed about the universe was wrong. These powers that these Lemurian people had, all this connection these Lemurian people had with everything around them, with their environment, with everything, with the universe and everything, they just said was absolute rubbish. They started to influence the children even, and started telling them small things to change the way they thought. They just did it really slowly, small things at a time. But the more and more people who believed in that small thing made the darkness grow. And then the more and more people who had lost their true self, they would influence others. And then it would just become a bigger thing and a bigger thing. So it was just a slow progression that Jenny is seeing.
Do you get a sense of how long people would live in those lifetimes?
She is seeing in the very early stages of Lemuria, they lived for many years, for they did not have the emotional baggage. They were more primitive, like they didn't hold on to things, they didn't really know about emotions so they didn't get sick, so they could live for many years. They usually died because of an accident. That is what Jenny is seeing. Also from an accident or a drowning or something rather than dying of ill health, for they rarely ever got sick. They were all very, very healthy. And because of that, they were in harmony with their environment and they could live off the land. And the land gave them what they needed because they were all connected and they helped each other. So Jenny is seeing that the land, the earth, the atmosphere, the people were all vibrationally matched. So they all harmonized and helped each other. And because there was no emotions, they did not get sick like we do here on earth. Because your emotions can make you sick. You can hold them in a certain part of your body. We are just showing Jenny how holding onto something such as anger, for example, excuse me, such as anger can cause cancer or another illness because it's held in the body in a certain place and it's given energy and it is transformed into the darkness. It becomes the darkness inside of your body. And we are just showing her, although we have got off track here, we are sorry that you need to release that fear or give love to that cancer. Give love to the darkness and it will disappear.
Thank you so much. We will work hard or easy to send love out to all in all areas as we release judgment and anger. Is there a final message that you would like to give Jenny today?
We don't want any of you to take for granted anything here with your life on earth. We want you to learn to love yourself, to love your family, and to love all those around you. Do not take for granted the simple things that you enjoy here. Appreciate every day you have here on earth. Do not see yourself as a victim to anything, for you have agreed to come here, and you have also agreed to enjoy your last days or weeks, whatever length of time it is. You have agreed to enjoy what you have left here on this earth. You may think that your life has been difficult, but everything you learn here is a lesson. And we know it gets pretty murky at times with all the emotions and everything that's going on around you. But remember that if you can release yourself out of what is happening around you, all of the 3D dramas, you have something very, very special waiting for you on the other side. Enjoy every simple little thing you are doing here now. Love your animals, love the trees, love your gardens, love every single thing in your life. For eventually all that will change. So while you are here, you need to appreciate it, because you won't see it again. Once you move, all those silly little things, all those simple little things that you just think, you may just miss. You might think, wow, you'll look back and you'll think, wow, you know what? I really didn't look at that the way I should have. I did take things for granted. I didn't love my friend the way I should have. I didn't love the things around me like I should have. You will see where you have gone wrong. You have seen the mistakes you have made. Love is what brings everything together. It brings us all together. And unless you can feel that in yourself, in your soul, and embrace it, you will not be able to appreciate anything else or love anything else. Many of you are just thinking, I can't wait to get out of here. But the longer you are here, the more lessons you learn. And those extra lessons that you're learning with the extra time you have will expand you even further. Will expand you and expand you and expand you. And don't you want to integrate back in with the other fragments of your higher self? Don't you want to be that being that you were before you came to Earth? Don't you want to be free of all the crap that's around you? So make an effort while you're here. Enjoy every day. Embrace every moment. Live every day like it's your last. And see the beauty that is around you. That is part of your challenge, to see it all, even with all the drama around you. It's like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon. It's fighting, the grub is fighting its way out of that cocoon. And finally, it is just released, and it is beautiful. So the universe is waiting for you. We are waiting for you. So empower yourselves. Empower yourselves. Put one foot in front of the other and move yourselves forward. Stop being stagnant. Help each other. Support each other and love each other. And rewards will come to you. We love you all and we embrace you all. But we are watching you and we are learning. We are learning as well. We are learning many things. And I know sometimes you can say, well, it's all right for you, you're not here. But you wanted to come here. You wanted to do this. So do it. We want you to do it. Come on. Do this, not just for yourselves, but for the whole universe. We're all depending on you. We are helping you too. Remember, we are helping you. You're not doing it on your own. We are all here. We are all here helping. In fact, some of us are even coming down to help you. We are amongst you. We are walking with you. We are always there supporting you. So please do this for us. For there are many good times ahead, and there is nothing to fear. You are all strong. You are all strong beings, and we love you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the information and lessons you provide so lovingly to all of us. Thank you.